To order. Roll call.
Louis Carl,
Here.
George Micka,
Here.
John Wiener,
Here.
Laura Miranda, and Michael Stark.
Comments? Any public comments?
It should be not for the Zoom board.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Could you come up and use a microphone, please?
Just touch a button there that says.
That is a-okay. Sounds good. Would this be the appropriate time for Sean to make a comment seeking some, well, yeah, I guess this is our not knowing the process. This would be, Sean has a letter that he wrote to his committee person or representative on the county board regarding a delinquent taxes owed on the property. And is this the proper time for him to present something to y'all?
It would be in the next section. We'll have a
Okay.
public comments for the land description portion.
Excellent. Then we'll sit down for now.
All right.
Just hit that button if you would.
The same one?
Yeah, there you go.
What's that? You can make public comments too in the. Thank you.
Okay, approval of agenda. All in favor? All right. Okay, action item approval of zoning land committee meeting minutes from July 20th.
I'll approve the meeting minutes for July 20th as presented.
All in favor? All right.
All right,
Okay. Issued revenue account. Okay, you should see
You'll see there, we have a printout of what's come in the last few months. And it's very much right on track from last year, within 2 permits so far.
Does anybody have any questions on the permits that were issued or money taken in?
No, next, if we can just get a bigger font next time.
Not a problem. Sorry about that.
Any questions?
I see, looks like everything is going pretty good on the revenue of permits, huh?
Yeah, I think so. It seems like everything's going pretty good. We're getting quite a few permits in and they're still coming in, being with the warm weather. It really hasn't slowed down too much.
Okay, next item. Junkyard ordinance.
Okay, everybody should have that. Looks like in 1964, we had a junkyard ordinance. And then, as you can see, they repealed it in 2004, I believe it was. Back to the townships. So that brings a question here. I've had 4 complaints about junkyards in 2 different townships. And my answer to them was that we give the authority to the townships. So now the chairmans of the town want to know what they're supposed to do about it. That how could they enforce this? So I thought I'd bring it back to you guys. if that's something we want to consider to possibly if the towns would make their own ordinance and then we could enforce it by cleaning up with our highway crew, something in that order, and then charge them in order to be able to get reimbursed for it.
Yeah, I know in the town of Jacobs, where I'm the chairman down there, we have a blight ordinance, which was kind of the same thing. You know, and we enforce, we give them 90 days to clean it up. Then we fine them, I don't know if it's $25 a day or something after that, if they're not making any effort to do it.
And that's working out pretty good.
We're doing pretty good. We have a few couple that, you know, fight it, but, you know, we did a lot of cleanup of town down there. So I don't know.
Hey, George, I see you were here back when this was, signed, huh? Do you have any comments for that?
Well, that's when it was repealed. We repealed, this is
Yeah.
repealed. Well, what happened was early 2000s, late 2000s, we started getting, you know, the computer started coming in. Well, everybody's a police officer when the computer, because you can look up any ordinance, you can look up anything, you know. And, we went through more than one of these. We went through, failed septic systems. We had to, you know, we had to make rules on that because we were getting calls. So we told them, well, they gotta sign it. Well, then all of a sudden we didn't get as many.
Yeah.
Because then it was a public record. So what happened here is we started getting these calls. So-and-so, everybody's got a junkyard. Well, look what it says. 2 vehicles within 100 feet or 50 feet of a main road is considered a junkyard.
Yeah.
Well, we only had 200-300 of them in the county, you know. So we says, well, you weren't here yet. You know, he says, well, we call the sheriff. We got a memo from the sheriff. Don't call us, we'll call you. And Larry says, well, what do we do? I said, let's get rid of it. It just doesn't, you know, you think way back in 1964, every farmer had old
Oh.
machinery. We were updating, we were upgrading, and the old equipment got left where it got left because nobody had the time to move it, you know. So I said, let's just get rid of it. So we did, and the county board said, yeah, we'll get rid of it. So now we're coming back and we've dealt with this here about 3-4 years, maybe about 3-4 years ago. You may remember. Remember when these two fellas come from town of Marengo? They wanted us to start turning on these people with these old trailers and that. What did I tell them? You remember what I told them? You know, you got more power than we got. You towns should get an ordinance, get something together, and they did, and they cleaned it up. So, you know, we see them all over, and a lot of them are bankruptcies. A lot of them are people who left and just walked away from the whole thing. We got one in Sandburg, just as you're driving in from the south to the north on the right-hand side. I've had people that inquire about that. When you guys gonna clean it? I ain't gonna clean it. I don't look. Turn the other way. That's my thought, you know.
Okay, to add to this, George, so recently I had a call from the DNR and they want to know what the county's doing about these junkyards because there's hazardous waste in them. So that brings me to another question. Do we have to contact the towns and see what they're doing or where are we gonna go with this?
Well, there again, to finish up on what I'm saying, so we had down in the Butternut area, we had a guy that was going around collecting tires, remember? And the Bayfield County got on the board and they went and had 2 tire collections. Ashland County wouldn't do it because it was gonna cost us some money. It's always that, you know, it's gonna cost us money. So we had a guy down there that was collecting old trailers and tires. And they were paying him, and he just had a pile of tires, you know, and older trailers, and they were blowing apart, you know, and everything. And so then we went down and started working with him. Well, he left the whole thing. There it is. Now it's yours. Go ahead. So, you know, you may get that kind of attitude. So what does DNR suggest? We're not doing nothing about it yet.
Well, we could have our highway guys go in and clean it up and we could charge them.
We can have them. Where's there an ordinance somewhere? where we can-
Well, I think that may come to you guys if what we're gonna do. If that's gotta come from the towns. They have to have their own ordinance first. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we wanna get back into policing that. I just, I think what we'll do is, give it to the towns. And then you're gonna see the towns start to drift away because they're not gonna wanna do it either.
But maybe if they knew we are backing them up, where we could clean it up and charge for it, maybe they will make the ordinance and do something.
Well, we can do that if we make an ordinance that we can back them up. But right now, we don't have nothing on the board that says that we have the power of attorney to do that.
I like the idea of East Township taking care of their own. You know, that would help Ashland County.
Well, there again, if you go back, we've got a comprehensive plan. And in that comprehensive plan, a lot of these things were addressed. The county ain't doing nothing because, you know, we just don't follow our comprehensive plan. It's been there for 12, 13 years. And we don't follow it. So that comprehensive plan may have some backing, but it's a plan. There's no ordinance. It's not something that you can go and it's a good idea. It's a plan. Something that can move and something you can change.
But would it be good if we did, like you said before, we have an ordinance and then you have to file a complaint against it, sign your name to a complaint?
Well, there again, your junkyards are different than sewage.
Right, I'm not talking sewage, I'm talking junkyards.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but the sewage, there is laws in that. We had a trailer court out here in on top of Cemetery Hill about 10, 12, 15 years ago. You may have been under then. Yeah, and we went after them and we went after them and we went after them to clean it up. They had raw sewage on top of but what are you gonna do about it? Finally, it took 2 years to get the state to pull their permit before they would do anything. How far do you wanna go? What do you wanna do? You know, the thought is real nice, you know, we got 5 neighbors with junkyards, you know, and, you know, the thought is real nice. But how far do you go? How big do you get?
You know, this is, the DNR got to have state regulations about hazardous waste, oil running
Yeah.
on the ground and stuff.
Yeah, they do. They have hazardous waste
Right,
rules.
right.
My suggestion would be to get, you got other counties, you got other counties with junkyard ordinances. Get them together and see what they're doing. See how they're enforcing it. That's what I'd start. I'd start looking at stuff like that to see, do they have them and are they able to enforce them and how are they enforcing them? Our police department isn't got time. They ain't got the people. They're so overboard bushed with stuff already, you know. So, you know, Bruce, that's what I would do. If you could go to Bayfield County, Douglas, some of the counties around, and if they ain't got nothing, go south. Don't go too south because we don't want to go to Madison. They don't know what they're doing anyway, so.
Well, the way I look at it though, right now, we don't have no authority. It's given to the towns, so we're kind of just sitting here waiting for
Well,
the
but
towns
if
to do
the
something.
DNR called you, you know, if they talk to you and they're asking you, and you're just gonna say nothing, and they're gonna come back a year from now and say, well, we need this, this, and this. The biggest thing in an ordinance is most of these are vehicles. And within a few years, the oil starts to drain out of them into the soil and that kind of stuff. Is it a big deal? Well, on the clay path, it probably ain't. But where you got loam and sand, they got this down in the Fox River area down by Green Bay, where the manure is going through the shale. And they'll actually a DNR or a DNA the manure, and they'll find it come from 3 miles away from a farm.
Mhm.
You know, and is it gonna happen up here? Probably not. But at the same token, people got time on their hands now.
You know, my biggest concern would be the environmental part of some of this stuff like you're talking about, you know, oil contamination, the wells. So I think maybe that if there was something that were looked at, maybe junkyard where they ain't doing no contamination, maybe But places where there's vehicles with tons of oil on the ground, that's an issue.
Well, but there again, like Bruce, I'll clue you in on a little bit of stuff here that we've done. When the state come and said we have to have an ordinance on non-metallic mining, that's gravel pits. There's gravel pits everywhere, and so they did this about 15 years ago. You may have been under when we went to the non-metallic mining. And what happened with the non-metallic mining, most of these gravel pits got oodles of vehicles in them. Everybody drags their vehicles in them and they're draining. But the DNR didn't come and say, well, you gotta clean that up. They said, you put a footprint in wherever you wanna start and we'll start new right from there. The heck with the rest of it, you know? And there's nothing that drains oil or anything that'll let any of this stuff go through the soil than in a gravel pit. Gravel is gravel, I mean, it's porous. So them junkyards are all out there. Those are junkyards too, even though you can't see them. There's a lot of them out there. And I'm sure there's a lot of junkyards where people drag all their stuff out in the back 40. Nobody ever sees them. You know, you can see them from a plane, but you know, you go after that. What kind of junkyard?
Well, we're not gonna send a plane to go after it, but if it's within sight and it's an eyesore, especially nowadays, where they can give it a scrap metal so easily. I mean,
And
why
you see-
wouldn't you wanna clean up your property if you had,
And you
5
see-
old
you see a
vehicles there
lot
that were
of
leaking
You see
oil?
a lot of people bring it. I had a neighbor must have had 30, 40 vehicles. He brought a crusher in, did the
Yeah.
whole thing, cleaned it all up and,
right?
you know, so.
I had the local scrap guy come to my house and I says, take whatever you want, I don't want any money for it, you're helping me clean up.
Yeah.
And you're making a few bucks.
Yeah,
So he was happy, I was happy. I don't know why.
but there again,
Everybody
you
would
wanna
wanna
go with an ordinance or you just wanna go to the towns and say, we're looking at a junkyard ordinance.
Do you know, did that DNR go to the towns in question? And see if, I mean, like I said, town of Jacobs has one, it's called the blight ordinance. But,
No, he talked to me initially, so I don't know after that what
Okay.
he's done.
You and I belong to the land and conservation. Land and conservation are so picky, they're out there checking on the fields for manure and stuff. So that is being pretty well taken care of, you know, but this is a whole lot different than that.
Yeah, it is different, you know, when you look at so many of our things that happen, I mean. It's you know, with the land opened up today, everything is different than it was 100 years ago.
I did talk to a couple of one of the town chairmans, one of the supervisors. So the town chairman told me, he said, well, you guys tell us what you want us to do and we'll go from there. So that's how it got left. But he did mention, he said, how are we gonna enforce this? So that's where I think we're at. We gotta let them know what we'd like to see happen and know that we're gonna back them if they are gonna go forward with it.
Maybe we could rewrite this to a little bit easier situation or something.
But there again, who's gonna enforce it? They're gonna say, you enforce it, you made the rule, you enforce it, that's what happened the first time. County Board in 64 made an ordinance, we rescinded it because. The zoning, we didn't have the people to do it, you know, the sheriff department said, well, we ain't gonna do it, that ain't part of our job. You know, who's gonna enforce that? So, you know, maybe just keep it on the floor and we'll start working on it.
There's no way that there's no extra funding for like, one person to have a part-time job to maybe look at this and take care of the situation?
Well, there again. Where there's 4 counties in the state of Wisconsin that are not in the Wisconsin fund, Ashland County is one of them. And you know, we haven't brought that on, no, Matt has brought that back on the floor a few times. Were you there when we said we're not gonna monkey with it? I don't think you were on the board yet. But what happened is the Wisconsin fund is a fund that says, if somebody cannot afford to update their sanitation system, the state will come in there and help them. Well, I asked Bayfield County, they got 6, 7 in their zoning department. Said, maybe 3, 4 a year. You know, no, upgrade the sewage system isn't cheap no more. It's 10 grand if you wanna look at it. So the state will come in there. Well, we decided that, well, then you'd have to go with all the tracking. You got, if you ever seen that, Bruce has seen it, you've seen it, haven't you? You know, there's a lot that goes with it. Every time they pump a tank, they have to, put it on the internet. Everybody knows where that load's gonna go, da, da, da. We decided, and Larry says, well, you know, DNR's gonna, I said, let them come back, tell them. And we'll do exactly what you were saying, John. How much money are you gonna give us? What are you gonna do? We ain't gonna do nothing. This is what, 10, 12 years ago, and 15 years ago, they haven't said a word to us, so.
Like the state or the federal has no funding for this kind of such situations, then.
They can't take care of the White House, how they gonna take care of this?
Why don't we just tell the, tell the towns to, enact their own ordinance?
Well, what do they do on the island?
They have the junk ordinance and it's under debate whether if it's being enforced or not. There's complaints, but they've got their own ordinance.
Well, I remember about 15 years ago, we had a bar over there. And it was a junkyard basically, and they told them they can't have it. And you know what I'm talking about. So he brought in 2 semi boxes that were on tires. So nobody could touch them because they weren't a stationary system. You know what I'm talking about. You know, so, you know, unless you got something that you can stick. It's something, you know, that town is the best. If you go to the towns and say, hey, you start talking about it, see what you guys are gonna do about it. And then maybe we can help you.
Right, we already did it. We have that blight ordinance, which we're clean. John knows that we cleaned up a lot in the town of Jacobs this year. I mean, we sent them the blight ordinance. They have, like I said, I don't have it right in front of me, but it's like 90 days to start cleaning up. To show that you're making an effort to clean up, and if you're not, then you start getting fined, and we add it to the taxes.
You know, you got.
And it's a board's
everybody-
decision on who gets the letter.
Yeah,
It's not my decision, it's not yours, it's the board's decision.
yeah,
So that's what we're elected for.
but you just hit it on the head, you know. These vehicles are out there, the town has, every township has employees. You know, maybe I ought to go there and just say, hey, because in order to take them over to Orenstein, you gotta pull the gas tanks out of them. And I think that's the only thing you gotta do is pull the gas tanks and the liquid, the.
Sure, the radiator
reservoirs.
fluid, the brake, I mean, we're not just talking about vehicles in the
Yeah,
town of
right.
Jacobs. We're talking houses that caved in,
Yeah.
we're talking
Trailer homes.
all the
home-
junk that's sitting out in yards, that's what we do. It's not just a vehicle ordinance. It's a everything ordinance. And we have very good compliance with, once we send a letter.
Well, if it's working, that's what we ought to be doing for the
Yeah.
rest of the towns too,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
You write a memo,
Well, would it be okay if we got some info from
Sure.
you on your
I'll
town?
gladly send it to you.
And I can pass this out to the other townships and,
Yeah.
and see if they can work it out themselves.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you know when you're
that's-
elected that you're not gonna make everybody happy, so some people come and complain, but you still follow through. I mean, it's.
well, you
board's
might,
decision
that's
of
just
which
what
one
you
is-
might do is say, hey, clean it up, or we'll come and clean it up for you and don't charge them. Just take the vehicles and get rid of them, take the money and put it in the copper, that's all.
But we,
What are you gonna do if there's about 2,000 tires there? You gonna just take them?
Well, no, I mean, you know, the tires are a different world.
We got a few of them just south of Marengo, and that's part of this hazard situation.
Yes, but there are junk people around that do take that stuff. I know in Glidden, there's a guy that will take everything he can.
It tires too?
no, well,
Not
not.
tires.
See, I think tires is where the problem is.
Right. Right. Right, we had a gentleman that do the same thing that had a whole bunch of tires and stuff. And somebody else bought the land, so the town worked with him to get rid of the tires. We have what's called free dump day down there. And you can give it a 4 tires per household per year for free. Well, we worked the guy, we just pulled the dumpster over there and he threw all the tires in and the town paid for it. Because it helped the town out. It beautified the town, so, you know.
You know,
Bru-
but
Bruce,
there are some things that just can't hardly get rid of, like tires. You
Yeah.
Just can't get rid of them, and that's an issue.
Well, like I said, the state had come through here about a dozen years ago. Were you on there when we had went through the tires? You know, in Bayfield County, they stuck some money in Ashland County. We talked about it, nobody. It was gonna cost us $25,000 to piggyback the 50 or 80 that they were gonna, and everybody could get rid of their tires, you know. And then they went back and had another one after that. And the county paid for the whole thing. Of course, Bayfield County is a rich county. It's not like Ashland County. We're paupers, you know.
Anyone?
Bruce, who are the towns that are asking about it, about this?
Town of Marengo and Town of Ashland. I think there was 3 in the town of Marengo and 1 in Ashland.
I mean, just, because I think having the towns have their own junk ordinance is the way to go.
I'll
Well,
send you a
but-
copy of ours.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. Okay, any more discussion on that? Next item, Hudson Bay Dam update.
Okay, so maybe you guys even know about, so the Hudson Bay, we do have the easement. It's been signed and everything's legal and updated. I believe it's already been at the Register of Deeds. So we have the easement now to go in there and start cleaning up the dam or maintaining it to what's required by the DNR. Our plan is, well, it even depends if this winter stays like it is. Matt from the Highway Commission said they could even start on it this winter. If not, we will, in the spring, we'll get going on it.
Okay, good.
And yeah, there's a few steps, or I think we gotta clean it up I think it's, we gotta power spray it first. Find out what kind of cracks are in it, then we're gonna have to be repaired. There's a catwalk that has to be put in that to be up to DNR standards. So we're gonna have to get an engineer, somebody to design that for us. And go forward with that, and then we'll need an inspection. So there's a few things that'll have to take place here next summer.
So
But-
what all had to be done? Got put handrails and what else?
I know that it's gotta be a catwalk that's up, to DNR standards. I would imagine it's gonna have handrails or something on it.
The catwalk, you're gonna have to build something flat to go across?
Something's gotta go across that dam so they can safely work on it, I think is how the DNR put it.
Fix whatever cracks you got
Yep.
there too? How
Yep.
do you engineer those?
I don't, it's a poured concrete dam, so I would imagine they're gonna fill it with some kind of a concrete
Cement,
filler.
somebody do that, or Ashland County gonna do
I
that?
think our county can do a lot of it. From what I've talked to Matt, they can do quite a bit of this work. So it'd be good, the more we could do.
Right, that gets billed to the residents, correct?
Yep, then it'll be,
Yep.
equally distributed.
Yep. Good.
That's the plan, so.
Got it fixed way better than when I first started, which a year ago was a mess.
Wonder if when any, don't have any cost, what is it gonna be costing or nothing?
We haven't got any cost yet. I think the first step would be to get in there first of all. They gotta clear that. The easement isn't cleared yet, so they gotta get that cleared to get to the dam. Once they get to it, I believe power washing will be their first thing so they can see what's going on. And I did contact the engineering firm out of Park Falls, I believe, who has worked on it before. They haven't got back to me, but I was gonna see if they were interested in giving us a price, or we do have to have an engineer sign off on it when it's complete, so we gotta get somebody involved.
There's no grants out there for helping situations like this, huh?
I don't know. If it was failing, I bet there would be, but it's actually in pretty nice shape. There's very little, I mean, I've went and looked at it.
The gear on it.
It looks nice.
Before this started, we had the Army Corps go and check it out, and they cleared the whole thing pretty good.
Okay, anything else on that? Any other business for zoning? Any other business? We're good. Okay. We'll move to land description. Public comments. Any public comments? Nope.
All right, hello, I'm Sean Bennett. I have some property that is behind in taxes, which I was paying off, but I got a letter saying that they were going to be taking it back or something along those lines. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I was working in 2020. I wasn't able to work anymore. Didn't get unemployment. I've been trying to get on disability. I've been going to the hospital every week since in 2020 onward. Tried to get unemployment, tried to get disability, and I thought it would come through a lot sooner, but it never has. But recently I am, with the lawyer's help, I was able to get that. So I should start getting that in the next month or so. So I'm just sitting here wondering what I can do about that. So I can keep my land.
Does he have a payment plan, or did we work that out at all, or did you go through that stuff already?
No, I don't believe a payment plan was made.
No, that won't go to.
No, I don't believe a payment plan was set up on this one.
We set up a payment plan, would that help you for a while, so everything falls in place?
Yes, as long as I can afford it.
Right.
And, I obviously want to get this paid off as soon as possible. My lawyers are still working on getting me some back pay on that, and if that comes through, then it's not going to be a problem at all. But as of right now, it's only been approved where I'm just going to be starting to get it now. Well, they approved it for June, I believe, but then there's a waiting period, and then it's behind a month, and so I will be starting to get disability, but I haven't got any yet. But a payment plan, yes, that would help a lot if I could afford to do it until I can get better funding. I've tried to get work. I can't get work. My doctors have told me that I can't work now, so.
Jennifer, can you work with him on, setting up a payment plan and see how that goes?
Yeah, we've sent payment plan paperwork to you in the
Oh.
past, so if you just fill that out, it would be an option.
Okay, I don't think I have any.
Okay. I can resend it.
Okay,
Let's just try that and see if it works out, and. Anything else?
that's all. I just wanted, it's very important to me.
Yeah.
It's been in the family for a long time, and I don't want it, I want to be able to pass this down when it's my turn, and it means a lot to me to have this, and I've been trying very hard to make sure this is one of the priorities. But I just haven't had the available funds to keep up with it lately because of my health stuff going on.
Okay, we'll get her to send a new form and then. That's it. Any other questions, suggestions for that? Does that sound good?
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, next.
I'm here in regards to Clayton Tolman Jr.'s property in Marengo. I'm the former owner, his mother, and I would like to pay the property taxes today and take back the property.
Well, we do have an agenda item for this, so I don't know how much we want to discuss during public comments, but
Just wait till you get to that.
so I don't know if you want to speak any more on it during public comments or.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Property subject to tax deed.
I just wanted to mention that I will not be showing it on the screen here. You should have everything in your packet. YouTube will take down the video if I do show.
All right, so, yeah, so in the packet of the tax deed notice, the list, I had several properties highlighted that were eligible to be foreclosed on. Many of them have, since paid it off before the meeting. The only ones remaining that could be foreclosed on is, the Kerfoot property in the town of Jacobs and the Tucker property in the town of LaPointe. Both of these are on page 2.
I have a question for Dan. How will this affect us when we talk about in the board meeting or?
Well, how valuable are these properties?
One was 1,300, one was 750.
Well,
I don't know value.
that's not the value. Yeah, let me quickly.
Just because we're still waiting for advice from WCA on how to proceed. And I do know that there's something going to happen in the legislature to give us further guidance. However, it may not be this year. There's talk about them adjourning in next month. So, and maybe, I guess I would suggest postponing till next meeting before we do anything, till we get a better handle on the Supreme Court's decision.
Does anybody have any idea? Is that good with everybody or? I know we talked about in the regular board meeting, how the mess it's gonna be, so.
Yeah, if you guys want to table this till next meeting, that's up to you.
I think we should table it until we get the
I think
final
so.
guidance.
Get a little bit more
Otherwise, it's
information
gonna
on
be a
it.
big mess. You don't need to add more trouble to it when it happens.
I make a motion, we table it.
I second it.
All in favor?
What, and this Kerfoot one here, how has that been working out?
That's one of the ones that was, that is eligible for foreclosure.
Oh,
That's,
what we're talking
Yeah.
about?
yes,
Okay,
that's what
keep
we're
it
talking
next
about.
one.
That's why we have it highlighted.
Okay, next item, sale of Clayton Tolman Jr. property to former owner.
Okay. So this one's also on the tax deed list on page 2. It's at the very bottom. This is the property that Gail Tolman was speaking about in her public comments. There was also a letter attached in your packet. Yeah, so do we want to let Gail speak again, or do you have anything else you want to add? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so just to go over it again, she's a former owner of the property. The current owner, is her son, who has passed away. And he is listed as the sole owner. And she's requesting that the county take the property on tax deed and then sell it to her as former owner for. Okay, so, okay, so the procedure, if you were to pay the back taxes today, you could do that without committee approval. However, the property would stay in Clayton's name. If you wanted it back in your name, the county would have to foreclose and then sell it to you, or the property would have to go through probate to go back into your name. Can you turn the microphone on?
When he passed, he put his daughter's name on the property, but she's never filed the paperwork to turn the property over to her. She's never paid the taxes. She's never taken ownership of the property, so I would like to have it back. Because she has no interest in it.
Okay.
So she didn't file any paperwork?
No.
Or anything?
No.
that You signed it over to her?
In a will or something like that.
A trust or something.
A
He did.
trust.
My brother did a trust. And, he did he was gonna give it to us, but then he didn't have nothing to leave for his daughter. Well, he did end up leaving some other stuff. But, she has no interest in it. And we want to get it back to keep it in the family, because it's been in the family for how long?
Since
Yeah.
1985, we brought that property.
Yeah.
I 100% want to get into the family, but I don't know legally how.
Jen's right. The county would have to foreclose on the property for non-payment of taxes. And then we could sell it then to you for the taxes plus whatever the foreclosure costs are.
Well, how much would it be?
Well, taxes and foreclosure
Oh,
costs.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
yeah, our actual costs. But,
Yeah,
Right.
right,
right,
We got to go legally. So
Right.
sure.
If she comes back with that paper and says this is mine,
right.
Okay.
we gotta make sure it's legal.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the only way we can transfer the deed.
And how
Okay.
long would that take?
Jen, how long can you get it? Would it take you?
Not long at all. I mean,
Okay.
once,
Like to do that?
okay, yep. Yeah, yeah, I believe I've given you the numbers for the back taxes plus the expenses before, and I can tell you those numbers again.
Okay,
Yeah, it would just take approval from this committee, and then I would my office would draft the deed, the tax deed, and then we could also draft the quitclaim deed from the county to you.
I'll make a motion that we approve that transaction.
I'll second. Yeah, it's the right thing to do, I mean,
That's the way we do it.
yeah, yeah, no problem at all. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, next meeting date. We just want to do like normal and wait till you get a list of stuff to do? Or you want to set?
Yeah, I don't need to set one at this point. I think, usually my things are just dependent on when we can foreclose on people, and that's kind of in limbo right now based on what WCA is gonna get back to the counties. So I would,
Right, I think right after we get that, we can have a- if we have more guidance on what we can do.
I do have one announcement while we're still on this item. I just want to let all the board members here know that at the end of February or beginning of March, there'll be a full county board meeting at Bad River with the tribal council.
Okay, any motion adjourned? Make motion adjourned?
Go move.